Good morning and welcome to the 8:15 daily operations weather brief. We're starting the day off today with some largely clear skies and cooler conditions along with light winds across the local area. However, that more so tranquil weather as it is right now will be looking to change as we move through the day, and that is as a result of what we'll see will be a tightening pressure gradient and a drifting area of high pressure overhead that is going to shift our winds to be more southerly, southwesterly in direction, and that will work to push our temperatures up into the upper 60s this afternoon and bring those gusty conditions back into the picture similarly to yesterday. Then looking ahead to tonight and the overnight hours, we'll see an approaching cold front that will quickly cross through the area in the early hours of tomorrow and bring us some slight chances of rain. However, with that being said, those chances of rain, if they do come to fruition, should be short in duration. Now, looking at this morning surface analysis chart, we do have a stacked low over the northern New England area, and that is continuing to pull away from our area off to the northeast as we see a weak surface high pressure region sitting over the southeast coast, and that is, as mentioned earlier, set to change as another low pressure system currently over northern Minnesota continues tracking towards the Great Lakes region. And for today, we're going to start off cool and dry as we're seeing now, and that is as a result of that high pressure. Those temperatures will climb up into the upper 60s, and we'll see that high pressure drift offshore. Our winds will shift, and that will bring in those gustier conditions as mentioned before. And then moving through the night, we'll see that cold front making its way across the mid-Atlantic or into the mid-Atlantic right now. We'll see that cross through the area, and then Wednesday we'll see those a drying air mass following behind that frontal passage, in which some westerly flow will continue, and temperatures will likely still reach the upper 60s for at least the day, as that cold air advection is not very strong. And unfortunately, those breezy conditions do look to persist with that drying air through Thursday, along with a secondary push of cooler air. Looking at our current observations out on the field, we do have a few clouds up in the upper levels, around 25,000 feet, off more so to the north-northwest. And our winds are out of 220 at 4 knots with a temperature around 46 degrees currently and a relative humidity at 82%. And taking a look at this morning's satellite imagery, we can see those upper level clouds up to the north-northwest, and we can also see that frontal feature moving its way through the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic region here, or what will eventually reach the mid-Atlantic region through the day today. And we can also see that cold front that had passed through in the following days working its way well off to sea out to the east. But pretty clearly depicted are some clear skies, and we do anticipate those to continue with maybe a few clouds mixing in for a majority of the day today. And that leads us to the model run of the day that does a pretty good job of depicting our rain chances as we move through the next 24 hours. And this is the HER on a 24-hour loop. And we can see here that we do have right about now those slight chances of rain moving through in the 1 to 2 a.m. time frame associated with that quick moving frontal feature, but nothing too robust looks to get going as of this moment. Looking at the 24-hour forecast ahead, we do have a few clouds out there right now, turning mostly clear for the day, and then we'll see some clouds build in the evening and overnight hours along with that frontal passage, in which we see some color on the board for a slight chance of passing showers. And for our winds today, they do start off rather light and then gradually increase throughout today as the pressure gradient from that low to the north and that high shifting off the coast tightens ever so slightly, and we'll see those winds possibly get up to wind advisory criteria. They're hovering just around it on the top end for many of the models. And then our winds will die down in the early hours of tomorrow morning. And that brings us to the short-term risk chart for the next few days here, in which on Wednesday we can anticipate mostly sunny skies and slightly breezy conditions with a very slight chance of a passing shower following that frontal passage. Although it's mostly dry air working its way in, that slight chance does exist. Not any color on the board right now, just a little bit of awareness and the slight chance of a wind advisory and a high of 66, and that's for Wednesday. Then for Wednesday night, overnight, mostly clear skies with a low around 46, and then Thursday, partly cloudy and slightly breezy and a high of 64. And that is going to conclude the daily operations weather brief. We'll be back at 10 o'clock with the 7-day outlook.